the one thing we haven't mentioned throughout this entire conversation, because we could sit here and say, absolutely Jets, absolutely Carolina, absolutely Miami, absolutely Chicago. You could throw, San Francisco into the mix potentially, or anybody wants to swing for a fence, as you said, Barry Bonds stuff. Right, you could do all that. Yep. Deshaun's got a no-trade clause on top of it. He could shut it down at any moment. So you've got to be on the same page with somebody who wants to not even be in your book anymore. It's insane. And each passing day to try and get it done with a draft approaching, if it's the week of. Imagine pulling something like this off on a draft night. I mean, that would be insanity. That would be insane to do that.
It would be good for us. That's for sure. It'd be good for you, good for us, it'd be good for everybody. And you know what? I'll tell you secretly, I'm hoping something like that does happen. But you're right. I mean, it's just and you just touched on something though, right? They have to still, ironically, communicate with a guy who could just blow up all their plans. They could do all this legwork, pick up the phone, hash out all these deals, just go fantasy football hog wild on this whole thing and get everything lined up, and Deshaun can say, nope.
That's right.
Don't like that place. And you know what that comes down to again? The same thing that got them into this mess. Communication. That's all this came down to. I mean, see, people now think that this is just the era of the prima donna quarterback, and all of a sudden guys are more selfish now and want to just do their own thing. I mean, quarterbacks, Rich, you know that they've been doing this for a long time. Quarterbacks have been trying to dictate their own destiny for a long time, since way back. But we just kind of selectively get ticked off about certain things because of the optics and how it looks. And it's almost like here, now people are saying, well, Deshaun and Russell, they want to be GMs too. They want to pick coaches. And from my understanding, and I think I have a pretty good understanding, and I'm sure you do too, that's not what he wanted. He didn't start this. People came to him, asked him about his input about certain things. He thought that was going to continue going forward. He expressed some concerns about certain things. And then all of a sudden, when the rubber meets the road, as Mike Tomlin likes to say, things changed on him. I don't care what business you're in, and I don't care what era it is. You tell somebody something like that, and you back out on your word, you're going to get what's coming to you. And in this case, it's a kid who says, I'm done. Just get me out of here. Send me somewhere else. And that's simply because you didn't keep the main thing. You didn't keep your word. And that's got to account for something at some point, especially when you're talking about a quarterback who without him last year, you're lucky if you win those 4 games. You may win 1. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of wild. So sometimes, we make this stuff so difficult, and it's really not. I mean, it's in terms of communicating anyway. I mean, winning football games in the NFL is hard, but communicating with your best players and players who you have decided you want to invest the kind of money in them that you're investing, it's not that hard to stay true to them and stay open with them and stay honest with them and just let them know, because that's what players ultimately want. They just want you to stay true to what you're saying. Or don't say anything. If you didn't want him to be involved, you didn't want his input, then you should have never asked him. But don't put it out there and then take it back and then expect there to be no consequences for it. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that just drives me up a wall, just about business and life in general. Don't put it out there and then pull it back and then expect somebody to just kind of just keep rolling because you're the boss and they're the employee. I mean, that's not the way it works anymore. It really doesn't. And I don't think it should work that way.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.